listen to fall to the floor.
Hello, welcome back to another pen talk. This is the first in my Washington DC pen show in-depth videos. I chose the Bexley pen for my first pen to review, mostly because I've been associated with Bexley since the late 90s. They were founded in 1993 by Howard Levy, and he was at the Washington DC show, and I spent some time talking with him, and I found it to be an extremely enjoyable discussion, and it ended up with me acquiring one of the promo pens that he had there. So have some good light hopefully coming in that we can kind of show off this celluloid that the pen is made of. You know, very few pen nowadays are made from celluloid, natural material. It takes a long time to make, but it certainly produces a very interesting material from colors, the finish, unique. The pen has the standard Bexley clip on it, which has been on the pens for a while now. And if you look at this pen, it's a classic design. You have the black cap here at the bottom of the barrel and the black cap at the top of the cap, or finial as some people refer to it as. And when you look at the pen initially, it looks like there's a gold band at the bottom of the cap, but when you remove the cap, which is an unscrew cap, you'll see that that gold band is actually part of the barrel. So the cap does not have a band at the bottom. So I think aesthetically that works very well. And Howard talked about how he designed that, or worked with his team to design that. The section is quite large. Threads you don't hardly feel at all, so you can hold the pen at any place. And as you can see, it's a large pen. In my somewhat medium to large hands, it fits in nicely. It does post not too deeply, but it does post securely, and it makes for a very large pen. So let's take a look at some of those dimensions. The pen is inked up. Overall weight comes in at almost 29 grams, which is a good weight for a pen. I think it's almost a perfect weight because it's not too light, not too heavy. And we have 10 grams in the cap, so 2/3 of the weight is in the barrel, which is a nice place for it to be. You want a pen that's kind of weighted towards the nib area, because that's where the action takes place. Overall length, about 142 millimeters, or 5.6 inches. So that puts it in large size, kind of almost into the oversized category. You know, it's kind of not a industry standardization that they talk about the sizes of pens, but it more or less is perception. So uncapped is 5.2, or almost 134 millimeters. And to me, the interesting thing is the section, which comes in at the narrow part about 12.5. And then as you go down, it opens up to about 13.2. And then as you continue on down the barrel, the actual barrel is about 14.7. So it's a good sized pen. And what really impressed me about this was the nib, which is a standard Bexley nib. It's a Bach unit. Nice article on the net about how Howard worked with Bach to get the nibs that he wanted. This is a nib assembly. I think Edison has a similar one. Franklin Christoph has a similar one. So this whole thing unscrews. Nice two-tone look to it. But this is a design Bexley's had for a while. All my recent Bexleys have this type of nib and feed to them. So I thought we'd do a little comparison. So this is the Prometheus, we'll call it. And here's the Americano, which is also a good sized pen, but not as girthy. And then we had the pen that I reviewed from the Long Island Pen Show, and then my original Bexley, the Equipoise, which is also a good sized pen, but more of a standard size. So if we take a look at that in relationship to the M800, the M800 looks small in comparing to the Bexley. And here's my oversized Delta Dolce Vita, which kind of holds its own about the Bexley, and actually I think does it one step up as far as girth is concerned. So as I mentioned before, it's just great to have conversations. Fountain pens are a business, and when you go to shows, a lot of people in the shows are there as part of their livelihood and their business. And Howard was very good at talking about pens and how he approaches it, and that I enjoyed quite a bit. You know, kind of a career you might aspire to, especially if you love pens. I don't think it's an easy career to get into, but I think once you do it, I think you stay true to your values. You know, we've had Edison, we have Franklin Christoph, Sean. We have a lot of people now in the business, the Goulets, that have really taken their passion, built a business around it, have very satisfied customers. So that's the nice part, and that's what I enjoy in a lot of the stuff that I do with pens. So obviously we need to put nib to paper and take a look at this pen. I mean, this nib is as smooth as any nib I've ever written with. It's a broad steel. I'm certain you can hear there's almost no sound. And I apologize, I've used this pen for almost 2 weeks and it has not skipped, but it's been sitting in a hot room for a couple days. So that may explain that skipping. So I just, you know, primed the feed a little bit with the converter. And that's one of the things that I like about converters is it's easy to prime the feed, something that's not as easy to do with a piston or a vacuum fill. And also with a bladder pen when you're trying to use a lever to force some ink into the feed. This is that Sailor ink, which goes on an interesting color and dries to a more of a green. So it goes on kind of a very dark green and then dries to more solid green. I'd say this is medium dry, but also this ink dries pretty quick. And this is, like I said, it's a hot room. So hopefully you've enjoyed this quick look at a pen that I really enjoy. I would have never came across this pen if it wasn't for being at the DC Pen Show. So that's one of the joys of being at a pen show. So thank you for viewing. And again, that is really strange. You know, you can use a pen for a couple weeks and you never learn all of its different features. So, and this is live. I'm not going to edit it, so you'll get to see what goes on. And I also have sweaty hands, so that's the other thing. We've seen this before in some of my pens when I've done videos, so not unusual to see this. I'm bringing down the converter until I see ink at the base of the feed, and it's almost out of ink, it looks like. And it is out of ink. So I really do apologize for that. It's not the pen's fault. It's my fault for not paying attention. So you'll have to just envision me writing thank you and the end. So have great writing experiences, have a ton of them, explore, expand, and enjoy. Bye. Run out of ink, but the Sailor inks are very saturated, and when you kind of look at the converter, it kind of looks like there's ink there, but obviously there's not any ink in the pen. Makes it hard to write when there's no ink. I couldn't let it go without showing you that this pen does write extremely well. And one of the things that I enjoy about it is how well it writes. And as you can see, when it's filled with ink, it definitely puts down a nice line of ink. And also you can see what this ink does with color. You know, the dark color becomes green. I think that's extremely interesting. So we're now going to formally say thank you. And officially say the end. Like I say, this is beautiful ink, and this pen, it's really, really nice. There's no flex, but it glides across the paper, and as you can see, the ink dries relatively quickly considering how wet it goes down. So enjoy all your writing experiences. May you have many. Ciao.